Alright guys, hope you're doing well. My name is Lewis Moon and I'm a mineral balancing practitioner, and in this video we're going to talk about peptides. Specifically we're going to talk about a peptide called GHK or GHK-Cu. Peptides are sort of hot on the market at the moment, and personally I find them to be incredible. They've been around for a long time obviously, but I'm generally finding that a lot of health practitioners are starting to use them more, integrate them more, just because of the amazing benefits of them. So I'll just briefly describe what a peptide is. So a peptide is a short chain of amino acids linked together by peptide bonds. These bonds form between the amino group of one amino acid and a carboxyl group of another. Peptides are typically classified based on the number of amino acids they contain. That's a technical aspect of them. Peptides play crucial roles in various biological processes. They can function as hormones, neurotransmitters, and as part of the immune response. For example, insulin is a peptide hormone that regulates blood sugar levels, and oxytocin is a peptide involved in social bonding and childbirth. So they're very similar to hormones, well, kind of like hormones basically, but generally what you find if you do hormone replacement therapy, you can run into problems where the body becomes reliant on them and stuff. Whereas when it comes to peptides, what people are generally finding is that if you sort of stop doing them, you don't really get any side effects. Especially not the ones that I've been researching anyway, because there's quite a few, so don't hold me to that. But the ones that I'm currently looking into, they all come across as very safe. They've been known for decades, and they provide immense benefit to people. And there's, basically no downside if you end up stopping them. One peptide that's well, a bunch of them really, the GLP peptides. You probably heard of them. Everyone's on the new weight loss jabs. That's actually a peptide, and the main thing that peptide does is reduce appetite. So people are basically eating less. But the reason why it's gained so much attention is because of how effective they are. But in this video we're going to specifically talk about GHK and GHK-Cu. GHK is a copper binding peptide. The body produces it naturally inside of the body. And the great thing about GHK is that it has a massive affinity to copper. It basically binds to copper. Okay, so you probably heard about GHK-Cu peptides. Well, probably most of you haven't actually, but a lot of practitioners have heard about them. So we're going to talk about them and how they could potentially be a major breakthrough for people who've got copper toxicity. Okay, so I first sort of came across peptides around 3 years ago, I think now, 2 or 3 years ago. A practitioner got in touch with me and says, look, you really need to try out these new patches. This video is not about the patches, by the way. I'm just giving you a overview of the journey. So the way that these patches work, they're called Lifewave patches. You've probably heard about them. It's called the X39 patch specifically. The way that this patch works is you put it on your body, put it on your skin, and your body emits heat in the form of infrared light. So that gets bounced back inside of the body. Amazing technology, and what they've found is if they reflects that back into the body at a very, very specific frequency, you can actually increase the body's own generation of GHK, which then goes on to bind to copper. Now, I was absolutely blown away by this patch when I first tried it. I have gone through the whole copper toxicity dumping, etc., etc., and I ended up having a copper dump, but it wasn't like a regular copper dump whereby it's quite intense, it's sometimes traumatic. Because the GHK sort of bound to the copper, it was a dump, and it had all the characteristics of a copper dump, but it wasn't very intense. The other amazing thing, and thing that kind of people don't quite understand in when they're looking at the HTMA world from an outside view, is that HTMA practitioners are actually very pro copper. If you actually look at most hair analysis supplementation programs, most of them have copper in it. So for example, anyone that's got a low NAK ratio, they're given copper in some form to increase that. Anyone that's in fast oxidation is given copper. Well, everyone that's in fast oxidation is given copper, etc., etc. So we are really aware of the benefits of copper. Copper is absolutely amazing. The problem is when you get copper toxicity, which you can research and look on our channels, type in copper toxicity, you'll find loads of videos on that. And basically what that means is copper is being stored in a biounavailable form, so the body can't use it. But when copper is bioavailable, you feel great, and it has so many benefits of things like stimulating GABA and skin rejuvenation, collagen generation, improves joints and muscles, really important for women's reproductive health, managing candida, etc, etc, etc. The benefits go on and on and on of copper being bioavailable. Anyway, so I ended up trying these patches, and I got all of the benefits of this bioavailable copper. I was already feeling pretty good at the time, but I just couldn't believe how amazing it was, and I ended up basically telling everyone about it. So I ended up sending people this video that I made, instant copper mobilization and stem cell activation. Okay, so this was an unlisted video that I sent to practitioners, clients, etc, etc, because I was really excited about the product. It's got a great safety record, and I just wanted people to try it basically. I have made this public now. I did share my username and password to get these products, but I've changed my password now, so that's not going to work. But yeah, I would definitely watch this video. You will hear the passion in my voice about these products, and yeah, it really is amazing. And I was giving it to clients, and I just kept getting amazing feedback. Like, on the program you want feedback, and it's one of them things similar to the Valence supplements, whereby you just get feedback. And I end up saving a bunch of them. Thank you for sending me the information. What a blessing. I feel incredible. The speed of healing is amazing. It's quite a long one. These patches are the bomb. Whenever I'm patched, I feel so mellow and chilled, more balanced, breathing improves, thinking more clearly, muscles are getting stronger, sleep is deep. It just goes on and on and on. I just had loads and loads of these testimonials coming back from people. I'm on another level, brain, energy, motivation, strength at the gym. And yeah, it was fantastic. A brilliant product. Some of the benefits of GHK-Cu, which was discovered by a guy called Dr. Lauren Pickart back in the 80s, I think. Wound healing, anti-inflammatory properties, antioxidant effects. This is a big one. Stem cell activation. So it actually increases the body's stem cell production. If you know what stem cells are, they're cells that they can basically turn into any other cell, and it basically removes dead or damaged cells, replaces them, etc. And this is where major healing occurs. I've seen people heal from kidney degeneration, people's who've had sort of spinal cord issues. It's really good at liver regeneration, anti-aging effects, gene expression, so it turns on 4,000 genes, anti-cancer potential, hair growth, the list goes on and on and on. It's really fantastic product. And I do recommend people to try out the X39 as maybe a starting point. I'm going to talk about things a little bit more deeper in the video. If you do want to get these patches, if you go to lifewave.com, you have to have a referral link. lifewave.com/LewisR90/enrollment/packs. I will actually put the link in the description. You can sign up to become like a distributor. You're going to need at least a bronze package, and then you can get the X39s and try it for yourself. Now, one of the things that they said in Lifewave is that you've got to take the patch on and off. You've got to wear it for like 12 hours, take it off, 12 hours, take it off. And one of the reasons for that is that the body kind of gets used to it, And what I found after a while is that I couldn't really feel the benefits anymore. I felt like my body had gotten used to it. And I tried a few of these other patches, the sleep one, for example. It worked really well for the first night or two, and then I just couldn't feel it anymore. So I'm not saying that, I don't want to throw the baby out the bathwater. I definitely think these are something to still use. But I kind of got a little bit my drive to promote them sort of diminished somewhat. So anyway, as I've evolved and started seeing more and more about peptides, I actually started moving on to how peptides are usually taken, which is in an injection form. So I started doing injections of peptides, and the obviously good thing about injecting peptides is it goes straight into, it goes into the bloodstream. It's way more bioavailable, more potent, and you're gonna, the body's basically not gonna get used to it like it would with these patches that you use in light therapy. So I started using GHK. Well, actually, I started on GHK-Cu, which is GHK with copper bound to it, and I felt the same feeling that I got when I was doing the Lifewave patches. However, this is a big talking point at the moment in the space, because obviously people have got copper toxicity, and we don't really want to be injecting people with more copper, even though that copper is going to be available. I personally found that after a while I could kind of feel a bit overloaded by copper, if that makes sense. So then I moved on to GHK, which is GHK without the copper. So what that will do is it will actually go and bind to copper within the body, which obviously is going to have major benefits for people that have got copper toxicity. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is that I'm sort of wanting to do more research into it, and I personally believe, and I'm confident now, that I think GHK, the basic version, has a lot of potential in helping people with copper toxicity, and obviously giving people all of these amazing benefits. So really the aim of this video is just to give you information, and I am open to anyone that feels comfortable with maybe doing some research and trying it out themselves, the GHK, and seeing where we can go with it. I do think that we need to do some research with this and the hair analysis tests just to see how it goes on. But my copper on my hair tests, I don't have any copper toxicity indicators. I don't have any burnout indicators. One maybe shows up now and again, but sometimes it's just fringe stuff. So I think that my copper's fairly balanced. I'm a fast oxidizer, so I generally need more copper at the moment. So that's why I started on with the GHK-Cu. But obviously there's copper in the supplements that we take, and like I said, I did feel great, and then I could just feel a bit of a copper overload, and that's when I ended up moving to the GHK Basic. But actually after a while I could feel a copper deficiency, so I think it was soaking up all of my copper. So basically I've been switching between the two, GHK and GHK Basic, and just feeling this immense just feeling good. I mean, I've obviously feeling good before. I feel like now it's got to a point where it's like you can't really feel any better, if that makes sense. It gets to a point obviously where the human body is at a state whereby it's just feeling good. If you go even further upwards, you start getting into methamphetamine. So that's not the way that a human is naturally designed to be. All right. So yeah, I would try out I'd watch this video if you're interested in more about this instant copper mobilization, stem cell activation. Check that out. That's a brand new video on the channel, even though, how old is it? Oh no, it's saying that it was published today because I just published it, but I think I've had it for like two or 3 years. Check it out. I explain how the patches work. If you do want to try the patches, it's called the X39 patch. I believe that it's suitable for everyone to try on the program. You need the bronze one. But yeah, anyone that's wanting to take this to the next level, I do think, especially for slow oxidizers who generally have copper toxicity, the GHK Basic, which is going to try and bind to that excess copper, I personally think this is a new step forward in mineral balancing. Now, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. I'm not I'm not one of these people that something comes out and I instantly just want to promote it. If you've known me over the years, I don't change my stance on healing, if that makes sense. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of health gurus out there, and every week they're changing their mind on different things. And I just think anyone that's truly healed will generally have a pretty consistent discussion about health, and I think I've done that on the program. We've improved on the supplements. That's just an evolvement of the program. We've talked more about how EMFs and near infrared saunas can be a problem. And interestingly, Dr. Wilson would have boo-booed me when it comes to this sort of stuff. He did do when I used to say, look, people are getting problems with Megapan. Then he ended up accepting the fact that people are getting problems with the inactive B6. It turns out now that he's actually promoting steam saunas, which is something I started promoting 2 or 3 years ago for people who got EMF sensitivity. So, by the grace of God, I seem to have this knack for figuring out tweaks in the program that need improving upon, and then actually, prominent people end up basically saying that I was right to do that. So I think this is one of the next steps, is peptides. I'm going to speak more about peptides, I'm sure, the more I do research on them. I'm currently currently working with some peptides that help reduce the sympathetic nervous system, things like Semax. I think that's going to be really helpful for people in sympathetic dominance. That's a really frustrating pattern that I want to help people with more. So that's probably going to be something I'm going to be talking about more on the channel. But that's it for now. Do some more research on GHK and GHK-Cu. It's an amazing, amazing peptide. Stay away from GHK-Cu. I don't think people should be taking that in peptide form. I think if you're going to get into this, start off with the patches. I'll put the link in the description, the X39 Lifewave patch, and then as you get more comfortable, I think doing the injection form of GHK. Here, if you're interested, lyophilized, I'm not sure how you pronounce it properly, and non-lyophilized. Basically, this means that this comes in a powdered form, and you've got to do some mixing, which can be a bit complex, to be honest. And then this comes in the this is already mixed. The benefits of having it non-mixed is that it's generally more pure, it lasts for longer, and then obviously the opposite's the case with the all pre-mixed. It's still pretty pure, but it doesn't tend to last as long. But for anyone interested in peptide dosages and stuff, so the recommended dosage for GHK is 1 milligrams, 1 mil per day. So what you can do is go to this peptide calculator. You pick what type of injection needle you're going to use, and don't worry about these. They're only like insulin needles, just small needles. And by the way, I need to say this is just research and educational. I'm not telling anyone to do this. I'm only giving research and educational advice. It's completely, the onus of the individual watching this video, what they want to do about it. But you can tick which sort of needle you're using, and here you can. These actually come in 100 milligrams. The ones that I've been using have been like 50 milligrams, 30 milligrams. It's quite a lot, really. The 100 milligrams, that's going to last quite a long time. That's another thing that I wanted to talk about, is that the patches are quite expensive. To be honest, if you're doing it on a monthly basis, it's not cheap. The thing is with the GHK, it's actually quite cheap. You're going to get quite a lot of doses from this alone. So you can use this peptide calculator. You've got a 1 mil syringe. The vial quality for this particular brand is going to be 100. You do need to add what's called bacteriostatic water. This is the water that you mix with peptides, basically, to turn it into a liquid form if you've not got the liquid version. Usually people have mix things with 10 mil. And then the amount would be 1,000 micrograms, which is equivalent to 1 mil. So you would be basically pulling it up to number 10 on the syringe, and that just goes into the belly fat. But yeah, I appreciate that this is a big step for people getting into this sort of stuff, injections and whatnot. So yeah, I'll probably start off with the patches. I do know that you can get like GHK, for example, in capsules, which is people probably feel more safe to use that, and sprays. I have used sprays similar to what I was saying about the patches. I generally find that they're just not as potent and not as bioavailable as obviously injecting. But I appreciate, you know, I was that person. I didn't want to go straight into the injections. I started off with the patches and then the spray and then the injections, you know. But yeah, the injections are definitely the best. So yeah, that's everything for this video. Really excited about this new space. So if you have any questions, write them in the... Oh, have I not been sharing my screen? That's frustrating. So I'll just do it quickly. Here's the instant copper mobilization stem cell video. Here's all of the testimonials that I got. Here's the enrollment section, GHK Basic, GHK-Cu, and the peptide calculator, where you just type in all of the information. Alright guys, so thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.